Hi, my name is Karina and welcome to the Karina Chronicles. Today I'm going to show you my April TBR and I'm a bit late, but I'm making up for it with a lot of books, so bear with me. So for those who have been following me for a while, know that I take part in a readathon in April called the Orilium Readathon, the Magical Readathon, hosted by Book Roast. And it's a readathon where you create a character and this character goes to an academy and to follow the subjects and have exams taken. You need to read prompts. So like every subject has its own prompt, and to pass the subject or to study it, you need to find a book that fits the prompt and read it within a month. And for April, I am following the calling called Craftsmage, and I'm in my third year and I only have to do 3 subjects, so that means 3 mandatory books for April, and everything else is just bonus, which is always great. But in April I try to make a TBR for every subject, a book, and I try to finish them by the next April. So I did with my last April TBR, like I didn't finish them all in April, but before now I finished all those books. And I love to make such an elaborate TBR because it's kind of like a year TBR in some way. I just want to have finished them before the next April starts and we need to study other subjects and need to read other prompts for them. So that means that I've made a TBR for all the subjects taking place in the readathon, but of course I also usually have my normal TBR where there are a lot of books on there, and I try to fit those into the Orilium Readathon, if you get what I mean. So that means that for the mandatory subjects I am very strict on the prompts and I follow all the rules and I make certain that they fit really well. For the other subjects I am a little bit more loose with them because I'm not doing anything with them readathon wise anyway. It's just for myself that I want to have read them before next April. I'm a little bit late with this video because I've been on holiday, which was great. I went to Disneyland Paris and I'm going to make a video about that, but I don't have all the material yet, so I wasn't able to yet. And there's also 2 other videos that I really wanted to make in March, which in some way didn't work out because I didn't get the material yet, or things didn't get delivered via mail and stuff. So I did have plans, but everything was screwed up. So I'm late with this one, and you didn't see any videos of me in March. So that is great, but you can expect to have them in April. So let's now quickly start because I'm already 3 minutes talking and we have a long TBR to go. So I will go through my regular TBR and I will quickly name which prompt it fits to in the readathon. If you don't do the readathon, don't worry about it. It's just, I just name for which subject it is and what is the prompt, and then I'll tell you about the book like I normally do. So starting off with the 3 mandatory subjects for my character, I needed to read for inscription, the subject inscription. I needed to choose a random book out of 3 written papers. And I don't know about you, but that sounds like my TBR jar for me, because I always grab 3 papers with the books written on them out of there, and then I choose the one that I prefer. So I'm going to show you the TBR jar clip that I made. Hi. So I literally just finished Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I even came out of bed for this. I really adored it. I thought it would be like a 4-star. In my memory it was a 4-star, but this was definitely a 5-star read. I really loved it. Yeah, it was great. Really enjoyed my time. So I'm so happy with this TBR jar. It's going actually very great. I've read 3 now and they were all awesome and also very high on my TBR, but just didn't get to them, so that is also great. I'm going to put the paper in. This is actually the 7th Harry Potter part. But I wanted to start at the beginning, so I'm putting this one in the red jar. But if I grab the real Philosopher's Stones piece, I will switch them around. So I will put this one in, and I will grab 3 new papers and choose a new one for April. I'm not going to read it in March, there's too much to do, but I do want to know which one I'm going to read in April. There's only one book that I need to read when I grab it, because I made a rule for myself. I set the rule that I could put something back 2 times. And even after only using this for 3 times and only having grabbed 9 papers, there's one book that I grabbed 2 times. A Dutch classic called Bezonken Rood by Jeroen Brouwer. If I grab that one, I need to read it. I do not have a choice. And to be honest, I am not bad about it if I need to read it this year, but not yet. Not yet. Not yet ready. So let's see. I'm quite nervous, to be honest. I really don't want to grab the same one. Oh, a blue one. I haven't had a blue one yet. It might look like I'm watching, but I'm not really, to be honest. I just am hustling and grabbing something. This one. Okay. Well, not Bezonken Rood by Jeroen Brouwers, because that was like a creamy white kind of paper. So we have a green one, which is, well, could be anything, literature, historical, fiction, anything actually. Yellow, which is YA or middle grade, and blue, fantasy science fiction, which I hadn't picked up yet. So exciting. I'm going to start with this one. Britt-Marie Was Here by Fredrik Backman. I really want to read that book. I'm so excited that I grabbed this. I don't think the others can beat this, to be honest. Oh, this one won't open. Why am I so bad at this? Okay. Nachtrider by Alexander Penrose. No. No, definitely not. And The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. I really want to read that one as well. But I promised to be reading this one. And I could ask that friend if we're going to buddy read this next month, but we're buddy reading already one this month as well. So I'm actually more excited about Britt-Marie. I didn't expect to be more excited about this one than about the fantasy one, but I think I'm going with Britt-Marie. This was the favorite book of my mother. Like when I asked her what is your favorite book of all time, she said this might change in a while because it's a too difficult question, but at the moment this is the favorite. And I can't wait to read it. I read Anxious People by him, and I watched the show, which I really loved, and I also watched the movie A Man Called Otto, based on the book A Man Called Uwe, which I hadn't read yet. And we were going to watch this movie as well, but I will be glad to read the book first. So I'm going with this one. Brandon Sanderson is going to go back in. Didn't expect that, to be honest. So as you saw, I grabbed Britt-Marie Was Here by Fredrik Backman. I've already started reading this. This is the first book I picked up in April. I'm about a third in and I'm really enjoying his writing style again. I don't think I love it as much as Anxious People, but that might depend on the ending as well. Then I needed to read something for spells and incantations. And what I needed to do was have a random number generator generate a number and then find a title that had that many letters in there. So I generated 16, and for that I chose Girl Goddess Queen by Lia Fitzgerald. And I'm going to count now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, good. So these are 16 letters. And I need to read this book for my book club this month. So that is perfect. This is Persephone and Hades retelling, which is always great. I've been hearing great stories about this. It's also very blown up on TikTok because she's already TikTok famous even before she wrote the book. So really excited about this one. This will probably be my second read in April because I need to finish it this month for the book club anyway, and also for my courses of Orilium now. So that's great. And then for the third mandatory book, I needed something for artificery, and I needed to read a book with keys or a lock on the cover. And this was actually one of the hardest ones. So I chose a book that I was not planning on reading. So I'm really reading it now for the readathon. But that is fun anyway, because I did own it already. So it's always good to read something that you own already and you didn't plan on. One of the TBR, you know. And that is The Binding by Bridget Collins. I got this book in a goodie bag one day, and I have really no idea what's it about, but I do really love the cover. It has a key, as you can see, so it's perfect. It's a YA fantasy. Really looking forward to it because I'm just really in the mood for YA fantasy. So I will read this one probably at work. I usually don't do that with fantasy or English or a little bit thicker books. But I think because I got it from a goodie bag for my work, and I then make it easier to finish it this month because I read in every break at my job, I think it might be easier to finish it that way. So I'm taking this to my job when I finish the book that I've been reading there now. So these are the 3 mandatory courses, and I'm very confident that I can finish them all. Then we're also doing a book club pick with the house you're sorted in, like sort of the guild, the people you connect with during this readathon. There was a book chosen for every guild, and that is the book club read. But it was God Killer, and I already read God Killer, and I also read the sequel. And the third part isn't out yet, so I couldn't really help. But the one that got second with the votes is Bunny. So I'm reading that one instead, because I was already reading it anyway, because we're buddy reading it this month. As you see, I've already started. I'm about halfway through. It's by Mona Awad. And we're reading it for a Dark Academia experiment, but it's more like magical realism, satire. It's just very weird until here, but I'm really enjoying my time. So let's see what we can do with it. I'm now reading it also for a prompt being psionics and deviation, where you needed to make a prediction bingo. And we do this for all the Dark Academia experiment books that we're doing this year. We made a prediction bingo. So I was like, this fits perfect. I need to read this book this month. It fits my house, my guild in some way, and we also have a bingo. So great. Then there are 2 books that I should be reading because I need to hand them over to someone else to read and annotate them this month, actually quite in the beginning of the month. So we need to read them as well. And the first one I chose to read for the quest that we can do during this readathon, where you have some extra prompts. And the first prompt was make a picture of it in the sun, which was really hard because we have no sun. I'm actually filming this at the moment that there's sun because the lighting is better, but it's the first sun in weeks. But I made the picture, and it's Fear the Silence by Bryndza. I'm also halfway through this book. I am so about it. Like, it's a very cliche, I feel like. So it depends probably on the ending, how thrilled I am by this thriller. So I'm reading this for a quest where I needed to make a picture in the sun. So I did that. That wasn't that hard. And then for demonology, I needed to read a book that I haven't paid for. And this is a book I borrowed, so I didn't pay for it. And that is A Bright Heart by Chenli. YA fantasy, Chinese fantasy. Still don't know anything about it. I've talked about it several times now. Still don't know anything about it, but that I need to finish it before the 17th of April. So we're going to read that quite quickly. And then you might know that I try to read a manga, comic, or graphic novel every month. And they help me get into a good reading speed. I have read so many books this year. I've never had so much books in my life. So I'm feeling that it's also a little bit because I squeeze in one of these every month. Because when I feel I'm getting kind of a little bit in a slump, I read one of those. I have read a book extra, which took me no time, but I also feel like, oh, I want to consume more stories. And that really helps. So one of the prompts was actually read a book you think would get you out of a reading slump. So that fits perfectly, and that is restoration was the subject. And for this month I'm going to read Avatar: The Last Airbender, Book 1, Water, Volume 1. And this is a screen comic, so this is literally the TV show put into a comic. And I chose to buy this one and not all the other comics that you have of Avatar: The Last Airbender because they are very hard to get, and I really felt the need to read the original one. Also with the hype about the adaptation, I was like, no, let me get the original one, please. So this is the first volume. They only published 4 volumes now, 2 of the regular story and 2 more focus on other characters. So I hope there will be more, because otherwise this is a disappointment. But at least I'm going to read the first volume, and I'm really happy with that. And I also think it will keep me out of a reading slump. So that is great. Another thing that I should read for a book club, the book club meeting is in the beginning of May, so it has a little bit less of priority, but I do want to read it. And that is The Once and Future Witches by Alix Harrow. And I'm reading this for alchemy, where you are supposed to have a circle on the cover. I mean, the O is a circle. And we have kind of some circular roses in some way. Listen, I'm probably not even reading this in April, so I think I'm alright with this prompt. And then for a book of my regular TBR, I try to squeeze one in every month. I was also lucky because there was a prompt, use a color wheel for conjuration, and I got Violet. Purple Violet, which was great because then I can read Violet Made of Thorns by Gina Chen, which is incredible because it not only has a violet cover, it has violet in the title. So I think I'm really happy with that. So trying to squeeze this one in as well. Not really confident that I'll make it either. And then one that I started in 2023 but really need to finish now for a change is Legends and Lattes. I already told you I will be reading this like a bazillion times. And now I would be reading it for elemental studies where you need to have a light source on the cover, and you can't see it, but there's like a fire, which is a light source. So I've had those now. Then there are 2 more that I'm reading at my job at the moment. I'm reading Argyle by Ellie Conway at the office where I'm usually at. I think I will finish the book in the beginning of April, and I use it for animal studies where you needed to have a book with a yellow title on the cover, and Argyle has that, which is strange. Like normally books don't have a yellow title, but I have 3 in this TBR, maybe even 4. Bunny, Argyle, Fear the Silence, and G from Book Roast said that gold was also fine, so Violet Made of Thorns would have also counted. That's crazy. But I'm counting Argyle for this one. And I'm reading Love Redesigned on in the other office where I'm not there that often, but I will try to finish the book this month. And I'm reading that one for astronomy, where you have to have a zodiac sign recommendation. I made those videos myself, but I've read most of the books that were recommended to a Gemini, which I am. And I thought it would be fun to read a book written by an author who is a Gemini, because they obviously recommend their own books, you know, for their own kind. So Love Redesigned is written by Lauren Escher, and Lauren Escher is actually also a Gemini. So I thought that fitted, you know. And those are the books that I want to be reading in April. Too much, I know. I won't be able to finish them all, but at least you know what I try to read. And then there are some prompts left that have books assigned to them by me, which I would like to read before the next April. So these books, obviously, I want to finish them all in April, but if I don't finish them in April, they will be finished this year. So then at least you know that. And there are some books left, being for Art of Illusion, you needed to have a book with game or play in the title. And I want to read the Inheritance games this year, maybe. It was on the number one with our book club for next pick, so I really hope we'll pick it then, because I don't own the book yet, and this would be a great reason to read it. And otherwise, this book might be replaced by something else with game or play in the title, but I didn't have any that I haven't read yet, so it will need to be a new book anyway. Then we have one more, and that is for shapeshifting. You needed to read a book by an author that blurbed your last 5-star read. Did you get that? My last 5-star read when I made this TBR was Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, and it was blurbed by Yo-Yo Moyes, which is one of the favorite authors of my mother. So I asked her to hand me her favorite Yo-Yo Moyes book and borrow it to me, so that I can read it somewhere this year. And she handed me Me Before You, which I already watched the movie, but I think the book will be great. So I will be reading that book somewhere this year, but probably not April. But I'm really excited about that, because that was really not on the planning either. So that was actually it. Ridiculous TBR again. Won't be finishing them all in April. I really hope you liked it. If you did like my video, please leave a like. If you click the notification bell, you will be notified whenever I post a new video. I hope you'll have a lovely day filled with books, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye! It's strange, but these TBR videos make me so excited to read again. So even if I'm in a little bit of a slump or something, it really helps to make this ridiculous TBR and be like, okay, I'm going to try to read 15 books now.